Once, Louise was a magician's assistant, and having fallen in love with a mysterious man, she was expecting a child. Soon, he disappeared forever, and the woman gave birth to an invisible boy, naming him My Angel. Keeping the existence of her child a secret, she tried to protect him from the cruelty of the outside world. Caring for her son, she raised the invisible boy alone, teaching him to eat with a spoon, write, and speak. When the boy grew older, he started wearing his mother's shoes and dresses. One evening, the woman told her son about a place where she used to live when she was little, a small cottage by the lake, which was a wonderful home. Now, however, they lived in a psychiatric hospital ward due to Louise's illness. The boy had never left the room, so he didn't know what a body of water looked like, but he dreamed of learning how to swim. One day, he looked out the window and noticed a girl from the neighboring house. The boy understood that no one could see him, but Madeleine seemed to be looking right at him. In the evening, he watched the red-haired neighbor play the piano and decided to get to know her. The next day, Angel ventured out of the room and left the hospital, finding himself in the neighboring yard. He watched the girl and was afraid to approach her, but Madeleine, sensing his presence, called him over. It turned out that she was blind, but heard the boy thanks to her well-developed senses. Gathering his courage, the boy told her his name was My Angel. Madeleine felt the boy's soft skin and wanted to play with him, as she had no friends. He had never talked to anyone other than his mother, so he agreed to her proposal. Returning to the ward, the boy told his mother that he had found a friend. Louise was in a depressed state, her condition steadily worsening. She worried greatly that she would die and leave her son behind. The mother understood that the child would not survive in this harsh and cruel world. The boy looked in the mirror, hoping to see his reflection, but it never appeared. Do I really exist? This question tormented him constantly. Meeting Madeleine again, he allowed her to touch his hand and feel his face. The girl couldn't see the boy, but she considered him beautiful because he had very soft skin. Playing hide and seek, she easily found her friend because he had a unique scent that was impossible to confuse. For him, finding the girl was easier because she couldn't hide very well. Angel and Madeleine gradually grew up, spending more and more time together. Louise's condition worsened. She stopped noticing her son and no longer spoke to him. The children, now older, remained inseparable, playing in the garden all day long. Madeleine asked the boy to look into her eyes. Despite her blindness, she felt his gaze and warmth in her heart. Soon, they fell in love with each other and kissed for the first time. The girl couldn't see herself in the mirror and asked the boy to describe her appearance. The invisible boy, who was in love, saw a charming red-haired girl. Returning to his mother after walks, the boy tried to talk to Louise and read her a book before bed, but she paid less and less attention to him, eventually stopping altogether. Walking in the rain, the teenagers felt free and dreamed of a happy future. Soon, Madeleine told the boy that she had to leave for a few months. She was going to have surgery, and the girl would finally be able to see her beloved. Angel was afraid of this and wanted to confess that he was invisible. Trying not to ruin their relationship, he kept this secret and spent the entire week with the girl before her departure. As she left, Madeleine said goodbye to the boy and promised to return in a few months. Understanding that their relationship would never be the same, Angel asked the girl to never forget him and the feelings they had shared over the years. Losing his beloved, the boy cried in the rain, spent time with his mother, and played in the yard of his girl's house. After receiving a letter, he learned that Madeleine would need several surgeries, so she wouldn't return as quickly as she had promised. At the same time, the boy's mother passes away. Having lost everyone he loved, Angel decides to travel to the cottage by the lake, the one Louise had told him about. Arriving at the location, he finds only a small, dilapidated hut, unfit for living. Seeing the lake for the first time, the boy dreams of reuniting with his beloved. While waiting for the girl to return, he decides to live in her house. Breaking a window, he climbs inside and takes over Madeleine's bed. Days, weeks, and then years pass. Little Angel grows into a man, still dreaming of meeting the girl. One day, he notices that Madeleine has finally returned. Running to meet his beloved, he sees her. The girl, now able to see, looks intently through the window, but does not notice the invisible man. Realizing that their relationship won't be the same as before, Angel decides not to reveal himself to her and instead watches her from a distance. She, meanwhile, tries to find her beloved, but at the hospital, she is told that there was never such a patient, and the room she used to look at from her window was occupied by Louise. Finding his mother's grave, the girl leaves a letter asking her lover to meet her. At night, the boy sneaks into Madeleine's bedroom and watches her as she sleeps. At times, she seems to sense his presence but looks right through him. Feeling a strong attraction to the girl, he writes her a letter in return, proposing they meet, but under one condition: her eyes must remain closed. Agreeing to a blind date, Madeleine closes her eyes and waits for her lover in the garden. Meeting again, they spend time together and remember how good things were before. Overcome by strong emotions, Madeleine agrees to a relationship with her eyes closed. In the evening, the couple talks, and Madeleine tells him how her sight was restored. It was a special moment because before, objects seemed flat to her and existed only in her hands. Seeing the world for the first time, she realized it was much bigger and more three-dimensional. When she first looked at herself in the mirror, Madeleine thought she saw another girl. Approaching closer, she realized it was her reflection. Preparing a surprise, the boy asks his beloved to close her eyes. They board a train and travel to the old house by the lake. Here, Angel wants to tell the girl the whole truth but lacks the courage. Madeleine loves the boy, but she longs to look him in the eyes. Understanding that the moment can't be delayed any longer, he agrees to reveal himself. In the evening, when she enters the bedroom, the girl sees her lover hiding under a sheet. She closes her eyes and lets him touch her hand. Feeling his touch, she pulls the sheet off the boy, but sees nothing. Realizing he is invisible, the girl falls into a hysterical fit and cries all night. Angel doesn't want her to suffer and leaves her a note. In the morning, Madeleine wakes up and calls for him, but he doesn't answer. Noticing the letter, she learns that her beloved has decided to leave her life forever. He doesn't want to torment her and is willing to forget her if it means Madeleine can be happy. However, she is not ready to part with him and has accepted him as he is. Determined to find Angel, the girl searches the house and garden. Remembering the cottage where his mother lived, she closes her eyes and retraces a familiar route. Arriving at the lake, Madeleine calls for the boy, but he hides in the bushes and doesn't respond. Misjudging the distance, Angel falls into the water and starts to drown. The girl jumps into the lake after him and finds him by following the air bubbles. Pulling her beloved to the shore, she saves him. Madeleine still feels his gaze and looks him directly in the eyes so he can feel the warmth in her heart. She loves Angel sincerely and is willing to do anything to stay by his side. The couple returns home and searches for ways that Madeleine could see her lover. To do this, they hang semi-transparent curtains in the rooms, put jingling bracelets on his feet, and apply makeup to him. Soon the couple has a child, who does not inherit their problematic genes. The couple decides to earn a living by taking advantage of the boy's invisibility. They organize shows and perform levitation tricks. Wishing to fulfill Angel's childhood dream, the girl teaches him how to swim.